You know, it's really funny. I'm so conscious of saying the same thing up here each year, but damn it, I'm going to say it again. To hell with Charlotte, to hell with Indianapolis. You know something, we got the greatest racers right here in the Northeast. No doubt about it. And thank you so much. Al Feeney, Danny Party, R.A. Sylvia, Pete Zanardi, everybody who worked so hard to put this banquet on. You know something, thinking back about it, back in the spring of 1964, the Falcone family must have been awful busy. They'd just taken over the promotional reins at Westboro Speedway, and they completely revamped the divisions that were running there. And not only that, they had the championship car themselves, and they'd won the year before. But in '64, they were in trouble. Their driver, the masterful Fred Borden, had taken on an assignment to build a barge up on Lake Winnipesaukee, so they had no driver. So what happened is that John Falcone, the patriarch of the family, told the kids who were running the race car, no big problem, just call Fitchburg, call the Flying Finn. Well, the kids did that, and they called the Finn, and the Finn listened to what they had to say, and he said, okay, I'll come down to Westboro and I'll drive your car, but I want you to know something. I hurt my hand pretty badly, so I want you to put one of those girly knobs on it. Well, on opening day, 1964, into the pits came probably 25 flathead modifieds, including the gleaming number 10 Falcone Brothers car, complete with a suicide knob on the steering wheel for the Finn. The Finn went out and took about a half a lap to build a relationship with his new car. He went upstairs immediately. And in the feature, he put on one of the most unbelievably electric feature races in the history of Westboro Speedway. For 20 laps, he battled outside the all-time popular, all-American boy, Pete Salvador, who was aboard the Bouchard red and white number 2. They were far beyond the zone, bouncing each other, bouncing the fence. And when finally the race was over and the Finn took the checker, hundreds of fans were looking around saying, who was that guy? Well, that guy was the Flying Finn from Fitchburg, Reino Tulonen, New England's greatest racing driver that New England never knew about. And one of the reasons that Reno's career was so unheralded is that he's just plain shy, modest, a man of few words. What's all this excitement about, he thinks. Another reason is that the guy could just drive anything, and so he did. Every season he seemed to be off doing something else, so the fans really couldn't get used to him as a regular. It started in those thundering big cars, and he soon went to the AAA, where he had as good a record as almost anybody in New England. Then it was to the Jalopies, when in 1951, one year, he won 4 championships alone. Couldn't quite get rid of the open wheel stuff, though, so he kept his hand in the midgets and spent a lot of time aboard a really cool midget called the Whisperer with an Evinrude motor, one that sits still in his garage today. But you know, looking back at it, I think that if Reno is known most for any particular division, it would be the cutdowns, particularly at that neat moment that they were beginning to morph into the super modifieds. And Reno's last cutdown was really something. That orange number 732, low slung, wildly offset, a rocket ship. But what it was not was a testimony to advanced planning. You see, Reno built it in an unheated chicken coop outside his kitchen, and he had to run an extension cord out there to bring power to himself all winter. But in the springtime, when he got it all done, he found that he had to knock the side of the building down to get it out. Well, no problem, it was worth it. He won the first night at Seekonk. And he won the 64 championship for the Falcones. And after that, he built a couple of NASCAR modifieds and went down to Norwood and Thompson. But those were the years that it was becoming very, very difficult for an independent owner driver to keep going. Other near members, such as Dick Armstrong, were really raising the bar financially. Reno was still fast, but he was kind of tough to watch. Listen to what Pete Fiandaca said. He went down to watch Reno run the Thompson 500 in 1969, and he was all excited when his hero qualified up front and ran a couple of hundred laps. And when Reno pulled out, Peter went running over the car saying, Reno, what's the matter? Reno climbed out, said nothing. I just can't afford to buy any more fuel. Yeah, you know, Reino Tulonen, you thrilled us at another time. You thrilled us at a time before drivers needed to have PR agents, at a time that there weren't that many financial yuppies in racing, a time when what was really important was who could get into the turn the fastest. And you could do that, Reno. There's no doubt about it. But if you've learned anything about Reino Tulonen from what I've said, you can hear that he always did things the hard way, and today's no exception. On the way to this Hall of Fame, he decided to go to the hospital and have just this little operation, an aortic aneurysm, one of the most massive surgeries that you can have. But here he is with us today. So let's give him a little bit of extra time to come up to the podium, and as he does, let's recognize the one and only Flying Finn. We're going to go ahead and give Reno the plaque, and he asked that we bypass his acceptance, but he's going to be more than happy to see all of you and go over and tap his shoulder. He's one good guy.